Okay, and welcome back. We are still working on the Camaro, and there's the quickest peek. If you missed the last episode, that is what it looks like with the front and back clip-on and the basic mock-up, which is now disassembled. The mock-up is disassembled, and I'm starting to pull out the interior pieces, take a look at those, and we're putting the engine together over here. Just the basic assembly. And I'm just checking out the dashboard here. Getting my first real good look at that. And you know, we get a decal for the instrument cluster up there. But otherwise I really like the detail. This is, once again, this happens a lot when I'm doing a build. You start shopping around on Craigslist or local places for a real 94 Camaro. That would not be a bad car to have at all, especially when you're looking at details like, let me go back to what I was talking about on a previous episode. This piece right here, I couldn't find this piece. I was showing it on the instructions. Right there next to the drive shaft, connects the transmission to the rear differential, really. And I was asking, what is that? And I finally found the part, and there's a good look at it, and didn't get an answer. So I looked it up myself. As it turns out, it is something called a axle torque arm. Torque axle arm, however you want to put those words together, that's basically what it is. And what it does is it prevents the rear axle from twisting under load, and it's for like a really high performance car. Not sure if this engine is quite at that power level that it requires something like that, but it's interesting that it has it. And what they're saying, I looked it up right here on the internet. Where am I? Torque arm controls axle housing rotation during acceleration and braking, and it works in conjunction with the panhard bar. If you're wondering what that is, let me up here. Boy, is this hard to do. I hadn't realized I had it up here. There we go. Ta-da. Panhard bar is that bar up there, number 2, and that controls your keeps you from moving left to right and allow the axle to only go straight up and down. And back to the kit, you're wondering, does the kit have it? And they are showing the basics of it, including this side view of how you're supposed to have that all set up. And that's great, but what does it look like? So here is the actual piece. You can see there, they molded it straight across, and I think it's going to angle down a little bit, but I'm not sure. Of course, it's not like a super adjustable high performance part that you would see aftermarket, but it is interesting that it is there. Otherwise, let's go back to regular view. Otherwise, we are just working on the basics, getting the interior parts out. Something that I just noticed here is that every piece of the front seats, 1, 2, 3, 4, has a separate part number. So I'm just looking to see why that might be, but apparently I've got to keep these straight, so I will pay attention as I put it together. Okay, and let's see what's happening in the next scene. Okay, so moving right along, as you can see, I have primed the main part of the body. I've actually primed everything on the body, but I just wanted to explain a couple of things. The main part of the body was pretty good. I mean, I don't really see sinkholes and things like that, so it's just a basic primer coat, and that was just the Ace primer. Gray primer, regular primer from Ace. But now the hood, if you remember, the rear wing and the hood had problems with sinkholes, and I don't even actually remember where they are. But look at this great effect we're getting on the, I know what you're thinking. This is actually a very old can of Rust-Oleum filler primer, spot filler primer. And I thought that would be a good way to fill up those sinkholes in a way that you don't really have to use putty. I mean, we'll see. The problem here that we're facing is that it's an extremely old can. That is a 5 or more year old can. And as you can see, it's got issues. But if it fills the holes, I'm happy. So we're going to find out. We're going to wet sand these now and see what happens. The main part of the body, I'm not sure if we are going to wet sand because it is nice and crisp. Yeah, I guess we will because we've got some particles. We'll do a little bit of wet sanding. Or dry sanding. I'm gonna get these things off of here, whatever these are. Yeah, we'll clean it up a little bit with some fine sandpaper. But not much. Main part of the body's in great shape. But we'll see what happens on the hood. Okay, I'm moving on to the interior. As you can see, it's got separate door cards. Actually, like the center console and the top part of the back seat are separate as well. But for detailing purposes, I'm liking that the door cards are separate. And so I think that I actually will go, especially considering it's a convertible, I'll go to the extra trouble of detailing up the knobs and stuff and the cranks. Manual window crank, look at that. Anyway, moving on to colors. I haven't decided on the body color yet, and that will ultimately affect the interior color. These are a couple of colors that I'm looking at, and I don't know how well they're coming up showing on camera. Let me try to zoom in here. Okay, so these are a couple of possibilities. I've just painted some spoons. The one on the left here, this one is called, I've got the can right there, Desert Rose by Rust-Oleum. And then the other one is Hunter Green. I've got that can all the way up there. So you can see the number if you like that. But the green on a Camaro, maybe. But you know, we're leaning towards this Desert Rose. But this is not a final decision at all. I've got some other spoons I'm going to paint today. And you know, you hold the spoon up against the body and give you an idea of what that's going to be like. I'm kind of liking that Desert Rose. Oh, I'm just now noticing that it's not showing up the same on camera as it does. Wow, that's very different. It looks like red there, but to the eye it looks like rose, like a rose. So wow, that'll actually have an effect because I want to be able to show what it looks like. Anyway, okay, moving on. We're gonna wet sand this, and who knows what'll be in the next scene. Okay, so this is what we're looking at after the wet sanding. As you can see, all the gray that's left is going to be the low spots that would have been very noticeable on a final coat of paint. So at this point, as I mentioned in the previous scene, we're having some issues with these crevices here. And this is about as far as I'm going to go with it on the spot filler primer. And so we're going to prime it again with regular primer and see if all that happens to be filled in by now. Can't really even tell. But, oh, and the wing as well. All these little spots, like speckles. Another reason why you're glad you prime. Boy, look at all the cracks and everything. I'm just hoping this looks better with the next coat of primer, which is going to be regular primer like the body here is painted in, because it didn't have any issues, and hopefully the hood and rear wing will look like the body in the next scene. Okay, and here's a look at how that went. Let me get close, super close, hopefully super close. As you can see here, now I've put on the regular primer, and it's about 3 coats of regular primer, but it is filling in pretty well. So it's going to work. And as you can see, there's no sinkholes now. It's nice and filled in and smooth. And so I will do a light sanding on this one, and I will probably prime it again and then light sanding again, very light, to the point where it doesn't go through the plastic. And we will have a super smooth hood. And the rear wing is basically doing the same thing. We have a little more work to do on that one, but the sinkholes are gone, and so this is promising. So for this episode, I know there's not a whole lot of progress, but that's what's happening, so that's what I'm filming, and so that's going to wrap it up. Other than we have some other paint choices here. You can see here we've got the orange. I wish that's a brilliant red showing up on the camera, but that is not what it looks like. Or maybe it is what it looks like. Hold on, let me get the can. Okay, yeah, we're having the same problem. The color is actually that. The color on the can is showing as the correct color. See the cap? Nope, cap is showing the wrong color. See that? How even the cap, to the eye, the cap and the bottom of the can are exactly the same color, and is the spoon. So right there, that is the color that this is. That is weird. And so I gotta say, it's too hot pink for me. It's too definitely make it a girl's car. So we got these 2 other choices. Orange is always a good choice for a sports car, but we got this new light gloss gray, which I'm really leaning towards. But in green, I don't know. But let me know if you guys have any preferences. Ultimately, I know that it's really my choice, but out of these 4, I am leaning towards the light gloss gray. I think that would be pretty neat. Anyway, that wraps it up for this episode. There's going to be a lot of episodes because build progress is slow, but at least I'm posting something. Y'all have a good one.